Cool. In this lesson, we'll be talking about your primary domain. I'll really start from the beginning here. I'm not really sure, where you're at with your business, but if you are just starting out and you don't even have a website, you don't have an email or anything, the first thing that you're going to think about is probably a name, right? And that name is going to be directly tied to your primary domain. So a primary domain is something like, a google.com or a slack.com. That's the domain that you're using for your website. So when people type in x.com or slack.com or google.com, they go directly to your website. And you'll also use this domain to send emails to your existing clients and internally, right? We'll walk through all of that a little later. So obviously, it's important on your primary on how you're choosing your primary domain and what you're choosing, right? So let's just assume that you are a marketing tech product, right? The first thing that I would do is go to like a chat GPT or something like this. I'm using a GPT that I've trained for one of my businesses, but it's no different than regular GPT. So if you'll just go into chat GPT and maybe say, give me some uh, good ideas for names and for a marketing technology company. I want it to be tech oriented and creative. I'm thinking something with lemon in the name, right? I then want to purchase a .com domain from GoDaddy. So please give me some available domains with the name you come up with. So as you can see here, I'm asking it to give me some potential names and check GoDaddy, which is a hosting website, if those domains are available for us to purchase. So let's see what this comes up with. All right, Lemon Logic, Lemon Pulse, SD Tech. I like Lemon Bite, right? So if we just choose lemon bite, I'll then go over to Google and then just type in lemon bite, right? I really want to see kind of what the real estate is like with this name because eventually we are going to be competing against other businesses that potentially have the same name. So as you can see here, a lot of businesses with the same name, right? So what about lemon loom? So you can see there's some e-commerce websites, Lemon and Loom, Lemon Loom. Anyway, you really you get the gist, right? You're essentially looking for companies that um, really don't have the same name, and then you can just easily purchase a .com, and you're not kind of competing right off the bat in SEO. So let's just maybe say, please give me some more creative names so I don't have to compete with existing companies. Please include lemon and remember I'm a marketing tech product. Please make sure the .com is available for purchase on GoDaddy. And don't worry about spelling errors on GPT. We can have another lesson on setting up GPTs for your business or your agency or whatnot, if that's of interest. And it is in a later lesson. So let's see what it's coming up with. So lemon kite, lemon pie. Oh, that's a good one. I'm wondering if the .com would be available for that, right? Let's check lemon pie. Okay, so we have a WordPress, hmm, a Twitter account, and there's not even a favicon for this, and it seems to be a recipe. So look, this might be a good one, right? So once you've kind of come up with the name, I don't know how you guys feel about that name. It's probably not the one I would end up. What about Lemon Sia? Okay, so there's a Twitter account. Not much. That might be a good one. So then let's go over to GoDaddy. Um, I'm just going to, looks like I'll have to quickly sign in. Sorry about that. But you're really going to GoDaddy.com, right? So if you just type in GoDaddy.com, and this is one of many hosting websites, right? Sorry about that. I might have to, let's see if I have two-step. I'm sure I do. One second, guys. I recommend two-step verification on your own account if you are getting delegate access from other folks. If you're setting up their domains and whatnot, it's easier if they remove it. But for your primary account, that's weird. I thought I had two-step set up. I always recommend added security for your own primary accounts. So once we're in GoDaddy, or once you've created an account, you're going to be able to just type in the domain that you want to purchase. Remember, this is going to be for your website and for your emails as well. So it will be first name at lemonsia.com. Looks like this one is taken, which the prompt didn't really do its job. Give me lemonsia.com alternatives as this is taken on GoDaddy. Please check they are available for purchase. As you can see, lemonsia.co is available, which I would always recommend a .com. Those are going to be around 9.99 if you get really creative with the domain. .ai psychologically adds, if you are an AI company, might make sense. They are a little bit more expensive. .io is a good alternative. It's kind of like a tech feel to it, but I would really stay with the .com, .io, or .ai. .org is, you can do it. It's not going to affect deliverability. It's mostly psychological when you're thinking of that you want, whether you want a .com, .org, .co, right? But just because it's really typically not that hard finding a good available .com. Let's just go through the full exercise here. I'm going to refresh ChatGPT. Sorry about the delay. And maybe if we're not relying fully on GPT, like what if we did Lemoncia marketing, right? Might be a bit long, but for just the sake of this, you can see here that we can get it for $1, 21.99. So look, this is not a bad domain. I would probably try and keep it shorter. Like if you're coming up with a name, I think it is more easy to be like ambiguous. So like we could do lemony, or lemonium, right? Sometimes it's easier to just come up with creative variations. You can see here, this one is pretty expensive. Lemonium, right? I'm sure with this letter variation, it's not going to be that expensive, as you can see, right? But to purchase, you're really just going to click make it yours, and then you're going to follow the steps, right? I don't recommend, you know, who is protection. It's really not that necessary. So I'm just going to click the no thanks, right? Let me view the cart here, right? So here they're talking about the full protection, right? Well, it's 11.99. Again, we don't have to purchase for 3 years. We could potentially purchase for 1 year. So that's gonna bring it down to 11.99 a year. Um, and then if you just continue forward, you're going to pay, and then you will own that domain. Cool. So we talked a lot about, what your primary domain means, how you can find one, the importance of it. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about secondary domains, and I will show you how to manage those domains once you have different domains purchased.